We definitely know there was a flip-flop. We call them
Yes,
slippers
there definitely
in Hawaii,
was.
but
Yeah, so there
flip-flop.
definitely, sadly, is quite a bit of trash at these depths even. Yeah.
Oh, 5.
Huh? What's this?
All right. So
something red.
in relation to that last question regarding the aggressive booby, we do have, if you're taking a look at channel 3 on the satellite feed, you can see them all right there on our front mast. So it looks like there's about 5 of them there enjoying the view, sharing the space. So far they're being nice. Thank you, Dave. That's
More
a
of
nice
those
shot.
mushroom corals? Can't tell.
Yeah, looks like a mushroom coral.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I wrote down. So hopefully.
I was watching them up there at sunrise this morning, and they were not being nice. Yeah, they were like trying to I was watching one. It was like trying to tear apart the rigging up there.
gosh.
Like had to like take it, like making room.
What kind of birds are up there right now?
I think they're all boobies,
they're
right?
all just different kinds of them?
Yeah, it seems like, well, I'm going to pass that over to Yvonne because he would know the different types of boobies that are hanging out on our mast.
There's a bunch of different types, right?
Yep. Yvonne, take it on.
Yeah, the two we're seeing the most are, of course, the red-footed boobies. And then occasionally we'll see a brown booby perched up there. But those are the two we've seen so far. Well, I'm hoping that a masked booby will dare to enter the game.
I thought there was one kind of cruising around, but...
Yeah, someone flying around, but I don't think I've seen one yet attempt to perch.
It's going to slow down like 30 meters.
The brown booby won't let him in.
Surprisingly sparse up here.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was a lot more lower down, maybe because there was a slope.
Yvonne.
Yeah, I think the slope is going to be a big part of it. We're still at the kind of the base of this. Should be start going up steeper now. You can see in the sonar ahead of us off to the right there.
All right, so this is kind of open for anyone who would like to answer. What is something you hope to see or see again on an expedition this deep? Oh. Gosh, what am I hoping to see?
Going with what I always go with, Dumbo octopus.
Yeah, we haven't seen.
Right, those little Dumbos.
I'd love to see a shark. It's
right,
pretty unusual, but it's possible.
The white tip, right? That's
that would
the
make
rarity.
my day.
I would love to see a nudibranch.
I actually don't know what we would find here.
Another crinoid down or something.
No, I think
It's
it
a
was
coral.
a sea
Or a
pen.
sea pen,
It looked like a sea pen.
Coral.
Okay.
Dave, I just got a comment that says there's a high-pitched whine on the audio that started at watch change, like someone's microphone is picking up interference.
That's just a little bit of a grounding thing with
So
our
I'm not
winch.
Oh, there's a fish.
Just wanted to share that
And
with
it's
you
gone.
just in case.
Yeah, it comes and goes. And
Okay.
It
thank
just
you.
stopped.
It did work.
There
Okay.
it came. I see.
Thank you, Dave.
It's not mine.
So did anybody else want to contribute? I would love to see a deep sea nudibranch. I'm on the Mish. I think it's going to happen, I believe. And then the white tip shark would be awesome. Anybody else hope to see something awesome? Taylor, Rob?
I'm on board with the octopus.
You're on the octopus. Dave and you are on the octopus. Emma?
I'm enjoying the corals.
A shark would make my year.
Can we look at this fish here?
Sick. Be really cool.
Can you zoom in, please?
Oh, you got a good eye, Liz. I swear. I didn't even see that.
I think I'd like to see something new and doing something different that I've not seen before.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like just a different behavior and action. That's a beautiful fish.
Is
Is
that
that
the
same one?
No,
That's
it looks
lizard.
a little bit like a halosaur face, but I'm not sure. Lizard fish,
See.
halosaur, something like
That's a
that.
nice shot.
Wow, he's cool.
Where's my highlight? Highlight.
Oh, it's a great.
What kind of
zoom.
fish is this?
I'm working on that.
Thank you, Liz. You're really
That's an
good.
awesome shot.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, come wide, please.
That's a pretty cool one.
Yeah.
Thanks, Josh.
Ah, darn it.
All right,
That wasn't a good
we're going to start getting up to this
shot.
bridge, so I'll slow down.
Okay.
Bridge nav.
Ah.
Yeah, it looks like we're coming up primarily
Can we
a
slow down
catalyst
to
pile right
0.2
now.
knots?
Some of these
Thank
may
you.
be in place.
think it was, yeah, I think it was a halosaur. So it was this guy.
It's another.
Well, once it
There's a
loads.
sponge up there.
Can we zoom in, please?
Somebody put in the chat here that their dream is to see a whale fall.
A ferried sponge.
Yep.
So we do
Great.
have a
Thank
question
you.
from a 5-year-old that's following us right now.
Aw.
And they would like to ask if you've seen any sea turtles.
When
We
we first
did.
pulled out of Honolulu,
Yeah.
we did.
Ooh, la la sa
You could see them from the deck of the ship.
Yeah, the sea turtle was cute. They said hi to us a few times.
Oh, awesome. All right. Thank you guys for answering these questions.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, that's
Halosaur
exactly.
day.
That's good job.
Nice.
Oh, on the left, what is that?
Wow.
Oh,
Is that
here
an
we-
anemone or an octocoral? Can we get a zoom on that?
It looks like a mushroom
So-
coral,
It's
but a
beauty.
different color variation than the ones we were seeing.
That was
yeah.
beautiful.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah.
And that's a mushroom coral again?
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. How do you tell the difference between the mushroom corals and the sea pens?
So the mushroom coral, to me, it looks like a big tree. So it has that long stalk, and then at the top it's like a bulb with all
Yeah.
of the polyps coming out of it. And I feel like they're much larger than sea pens. And a lot of the sea pens that I remember seeing are usually in the sediment, and their peduncle usually is holding them down deep in the sediment.
Thank
See
you.
if
That's
I can get
helpful.
a closer shot of this.
Because
It's a
I
good
know
word. I had to use
Good
it.
peduncle.
Nice peduncle.
I'm just going to see if I can get a closer shot on the sexton here.
So Jason
Oh,
says,
sorry, did you
welcome
get that?
back.
Oh, yes, I did.
Okay.
And then I know this has been posed before, and I might just direct it to whomever would like to answer. Is there a chance that the Nautilus will discover a shipwreck inside the Pacific Remote Island Marine National Monument? Although that is not our mission to find shipwrecks, I'm not too sure if there are any. I'm going to pass it over to our fish and wildlife expert, who can speak more about the presence of shipwrecks in the monument.
Yeah, no.
Yvonne, you're up.
Not many in around Johnston, around Midway Atoll in
look at that
Papahanaumokuakea. There's been
Look
some,
at that.
but
this one?
not around Johnston. So, but you never know. It would be a beautiful surprise if we come across one. Like you said, it's not our mission to find one, but if we do, I'm pretty sure we're going to document it.
It will be noted.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty
Do
sweet
a quick
too.
zoom here, and then I'm going to keep on trucking.
Oh, that's pretty. Taylor, is that a bamboo?
I'm not seeing the nodules.
I almost
That's
typed in
beautiful.
Taylor.
Or the nose, I mean. Oh, you almost typed my name.
Yeah, and then nose. What is this?
Let's see.
Anthomastus is
Yeah,
what.
come
No,
on,
wait,
please.
sorry, that was the mushroom.
Oh, never mind.
Uh,
Oh yeah, I got it. I still got it. Never mind. No, yeah, tell me.
Going to move truck along here a little bit, and then I'll
it was a sea pen, apparently.
Thank you.
Balticina.
Yeah, it's a big one.
And you were just asking about
I
this.
know.
Yeah.
I've never seen one that big.
Me either.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Is that another one? No, it's a sponge.
Oh. No, we have not seen any dolphins yet. We keep an eye out to, I'm sure people are making observations in hopes that we might see some of those big guys out in the water, but none have popped up yet. Has anybody else seen any dolphins? That is a question that was just popped in.
Not on this cruise.
Not on this cruise.
Some more of the fireworks.
Yeah. And that's the Metallogorgia?
Yep. Do you think?
Yeah, I'm just thinking
Yeah.
we might just, we could the ship maybe just for a little bit. Oh, actually it's flattening out now.
Oh.
I was just thinking it would give me a bit more time to
Yeah, we
to
can do it.
stop,
I can
but,
do it.
see if it flattens out a bit here.
Okay.
Would that be a Plex?
Let's
Maybe,
see.
yeah.
Zoom in, please.
Whoa.
Ooh,
Ooh,
Ooh, what was that?
a visitor.
Might
I
have
think
been
that
a
was another cusk eel.
Yeah.
Hey.
A lighter color though.
Yeah. Is that another urchin there, it looks like?
Neat.
Might just be the base.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
I like the orange color.
Yeah, come
Yeah.
on.
If you're feeling pressure, we can take our time.
Yeah, why don't we just stop the ship
Yeah.
here and then we'll keep swinging. And once we get a little closer ship, we can start up again.
Sounds great.
That'll just let me be able to stop a little bit more often here.
Bridge nav. Can we hold position here? Thank you.
Something big.
Yeah, something big coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And another fish here.
Do they hang out upside down to look for food and stuff?
The fish?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Did it look upside down?
Yeah, there's one that's upside down. He's swimming though, so he's definitely
Zoom in, please.
still good.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like I see a nodule back there at the bottom. Yeah, it's a
Oh, wow, that's a nice
bamboo.
shot. Is that a bamboo?
Yep. You see the
Do you see it? Oh yeah, the nodes.
Bamboo.
It's very horizontal.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if the rock it was on like fell over or if it just grew that way.
Yeah, I wonder. Let's see.
Looks like it's just
Interesting.
growing that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah, I'll come wide.
And another big bamboo coral ahead.
Wow.
Look at that. Oh,
It
that's
just
so
keeps going.
tall.
Oh my
Oh my goodness. Unreal.
Oh my. So much to explore in this one little spot.
the Primnoidea there
Oh,
with a
and another fish.
2 more.
There's definitely a lot higher fish abundances up here.
Okay. What's our elevation right now? Oh, 15.
I know it's the candelabra bamboo, but I don't
Yeah.
remember the
I
actual
think that was a Primnoid.
name.
Primnoid?
Yeah.
It's amazing how many corals that you learn really quickly
Mm.
on these dives.
Oh, this guy. Is that what you're thinking?
Yes, that's it right there.
Interesting
Should we zoom in, please?
structure in there.
Primnoidae, calyptrophora.
What's this one?
Oh, that's pretty.
Mm-hmm. Is that another Chrysogoria or
I
Iridogoria?
think this is an
Oh,
umbellapathes.
Umbellapathes.
Yeah.
Umbellapathes. Oh, I spelled it wrong.
Okay, come wide.
I'm cheating. I'm watching what Steve's saying, so.
Yeah.
There's the Bathypathes. I know that one.
That's an awesome rock.
Where are you doing the gauges now?
There's a Excel sheet.
Oh.
Dive on there.
No more paper?
No more paper. You can copy and paste now. Well, at least I got to check them, but.
Same with our dive log over here too.
It's pretty big.
We've got a spreadsheet
Wow.
embedded in the checklist.
Yeah, can
What
we
do you
zoom
guys
on that
see?
fish?
I'll try and catch him, yeah.
Oh,
Looks
it's
like it might be
pretty
another
big.
He
cutthroat
does
eel.
not want to be seen.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh,
Let me
Sneaky.
zoom in and I'll, yeah, he's running away.
Oh.
I'll run at its tether.
Oh,
Wow.
how beautiful.
Wow.
No,
It doesn't want to show us
He
his
doesn't
face.
want
Gonskis, yeah.
Okay, he'll come wide.
Yeah, thank you.
He might slow down, who knows. George, giving me
I know.
comments.
Might be another Plex down here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that same. Gosh, I can't remember what
Can
it
you
is.
zoom in, please?
Oh, cool. Nice.
Oh,
Fish coming back around.
back.
Cool.
Well, there it
Oh,
comes.
hi,
Wow.
Get the
pretty.
background.
This is drive-by.
It's a cool shot.
Oh, maybe those lights are interesting.
The fireworks.
Are those sea pen or coral? What are those right there? The two white.
Those are coral.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll come wide.
Atalanta stopped
bummer.
moving, by the way, so.
Okay.
Oh, that one's not gonna be good.
Might
I
just see
missed
if
the
I can
missed the eel. Bummer.
I'll be able to get kind of a shot of this guy here. Play around a little bit. We got
Yeah.
the ship stopped.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can park. Get a still shot of this coral here.
Should we get a zoom on that?
Yeah, let's give you that Plex there.
I'm gonna see if I can this one right in front of the
Yeah.
camera. I'm gonna see if I can get a Sexton still camera shot of it.
Oh, you got it up there? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
No, you can do it.
I mean, I don't know how good I am.
You're awesome.
Now, if it's Steve called them black coral, I'm not sure if it's for this one.
I think this is a plexurid, right?
Yeah, I thought it was a Plex.
Yeah.
Not
I think
sure
he
what
was
was-
referring to
okay.
the pink ones that we were
Okay.
saying a little bit ago.
Pretty cool. Yeah, you got a few photos there.
I think so.
Nice.
Yeah, got a
Okay.
bunch.
That's nice.
It's awesome.
I like the other corals in the background.
Yeah.
There. It's really nice. This sure looks like it should be
Yeah, so
a happier place
primary
for
comp,
coral here.
and then that one.
It's got that look.
Yeah, it's
The happy coral look. Maybe it likes the rocks.
Josh, can you pan the camera right just a little bit?
Sorry, what's that?
Pan the camera right just a little bit, take the arm out of it.
Oh, roger. Yep.
Good.
Thanks.
All right. Let's see if there's anything we can take our time with here. Get the ship stopped. Looks like that one's kind of broken off there. A few places.
Oh, yeah. I wonder how that happens.
Yeah, all the pieces are right there too. That's interesting.
Yeah, like something ran into it.
Look how huge the whole top was. I bet you this was massive at one point.
Oh, wow, what is that?
It's a dead
More
coral. It's
dead
broken.
Oh.
Or
Look,
maybe
look
a
how
dead
big
bamboo.
the whole
Yeah, like
is.
the
That's massive.
peduncle.
Bamboo.
Easy, man.
Nobody knows that song. It's from QCed, the bamboo song.
Huh.
Oh,
I won't sing it.
it like looks like it broke at the nodes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense if that's like protein.
Yeah.
And proteinaceous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a
Everyone's
little
new
brittle star
favorite
on
vocab word.
One of the arms there.
Surprised
that
there's
broke
not
off.
much like hanging out of the top of this thing. Seems like a good perch. But maybe it all just fell off.
Yeah, some hydrozoans I think are on it.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I'll come wide, please.
I always think it looks like algae, and then I have to remind myself there's no algae at this tip.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, this looks like some old sheet flows with cleft pits here and there.
Mm. What were those structures that you were referring to earlier that looked like the stairs?
Well, those are intrusions, probably dikes of some
Intrusions.
sort.
Do you often find them near like what you were telling me earlier about like dikes and things? Or would you find those in those areas? Or are they kind of just...
This is the first I've seen on a seamount. I usually
Wow.
see them like in the oceanic crust if you get farther down.
Really?
Like if you have an exposure more than maybe 200, 300 meters of rock,
Okay.
you can actually see a lot of them.
Yeah, they looked really striking.
Yeah.
They, you know, they were like those stairways to heaven we kept talking about.
Yeah.
Like it just looked like you could just go and
Decent
take a
interest.
hike on the rocks.
Well,
or
that's part of the columnar jointing.
Oh.
So if you were able to pull that away and look down, it would look like little columns possibly.
Wow. Interesting.
It's another plexurid.
Yeah, and then another big bamboo behind it.
Yay.
I feel like every plexurid we've seen has a brittle star wrapped in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it always has one in that like same spot.
Mm-hmm. They tend to like that space, it looks like.
Okay, I'll come wide. See if I can go right up to this bamboo here.
Yeah, if you want. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, do it.
Wow, these bamboos are really big.
Yeah,
So
they're
tall.
really tall
Well, they are.
and coily.
I mean, that's a couple of meters or?
I'm gonna have, my altitude's like 2.3 meters right now.
Wow.
Oh. Geesh. That's really cool.
And it's interesting that they only really have polyps on the top part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the lower part of the stalk is empty or kind of smoothed out, it looks like.
Yeah, it just doesn't have polyps.
Oh.
I mean, are they like a tree? Do they kind of grow at the tip and keep it going up?
You're like saving all of
break-
their
Well, that's not how
energy.
trees grow. Sorry.
Well, I know they go out and up, but
Good question. How do trees grow?
We're not terrestrial scientists.
No.
I
Sorry.
do work in their terrestrial
no, I
realm.
mean, it's just that, I mean,
No, I'm not sure if they just grow at the top. I know that's how like stony corals work, but
okay.
with an octocoral, I don't know.
So what I do know about trees is like in some of like the conifers, I think they'll lose their lower limbs to put all of their energy to capture photosynthesis right at the top of their tree tip. So it's like an energy saving behavior, right, for trees. And often they grow upward. They go up, trees grow upward.
You don't have to apologize for me.
Yeah, as long as I'm still drifting. So.
What do you do, like,
I'm still pulling my foot in my mouth. That's okay.
What?
What do you think?
Mine's in there all the time. I gotta take it out like every so often.
I mean, I don't know how mountains
Sorry,
grow.
say that again.
A 50-meter step, maybe? Like how long? When do you measure and see where the
It's
boat
not.
will
It's not gonna be very far.
Not
So
very
that's
far.
kind of good, right here. Or I could do.
Yeah, like 75 or something.
Yeah, that's 75.
Okay, let's do that.
Bridge nav. Can we do a 75-meter step at 2 to 20 at 0.2 knots? Perfect. 220.
Roger.
Yeah, looks like we may have a wall coming up to us.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Is that another shrimp?
Yeah, looks like shrimp.
Wow.
Their legs move so fast.
I can sing my holo holo shrimp song now.
You want to see it in a minute, please?
Please do.
And we can mark that a 4.
I did. Which one? I didn't capture it. Shoot.
Was that a funky crab?
Yeah, it's a squat lobster.
Rad. What
It's
kind
a
of lobster?
big one.
Yeah,
Squat?
it's a big.
Squat. Like squat. Do squats?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
It's it looks like it's missing a claw.
Squat lobster.
Okay.
He's been in a fight,
Yeah.
for sure.
Sorry. Nobody knows that song either.
That's cool.
Was that on a
Depends
coral?
on
Yeah.
Thank you. On coral on rock. And you said that was a 4, Rob, you said?
No, if you were singing at the same time.
Come on.
Oh,
come
that
on,
was a
wait,
4?
what
Am I
is-
singing?
Yeah, if you were singing the shrimp song with the shrimp in the
Squat
background.
lobster, yeah, yeah. You know that song, Squat Lobster?
Yeah.
Is that the song?
Is it a song or?
There is a song, B-52 is
It's Rock Lobster.
Okay, Rock Lobster, okay.
Rock lobster. Yeah.
This is the singing hour. Everything's going to be aligned with songs,
Oh
okay?
no.
Off the rails hour.
The coffee's wearing off. So.
Yeah, are we unhinged at this point already?
And you're muted.
Force mute.
I'll mute my own self for a second.
He may be force muted.
Is that a sponge there?
Yeah, it looks like
Is
it.
it?
Or
I
is
was
it
trying
sand?
to decide if it was sand or a sponge.
I think
It's
it's a sponge.
Something.
That'd be a fun game.
fish. It's a fish approaching.
Squat
is.
sponge.
That is a fish sponge, isn't it? Fish.
When there's a fish too, yeah.
There's definitely
Okay, let's
something.
zoom
Oh,
in,
yeah.
please.
Is that a lizardfish?
Wait. Oh,
Is that a
there?
halosaur?
Yeah, it's a sponge.
I think it's another halosaur.
Yeah.
Wow, that's an interesting sponge.
It's got a little white thing on its mouth there. I wonder if that's a parasite. Oh, wait, no, that's another cusk eel.
Oh, it is? Yeah, yeah.
Or, no, sorry, cutthroat eel. The head shape, I think.
Oh.
It's like you
Maybe
got
that is a parasite. Just wants to get that out.
Yeah, the one that they saw earlier
What
also
is-
had some sort of parasite.
In that same spot, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It might be like an
It
isopod or
is?
something.
Okay, what is
Very interesting.
Ooh,
Ooh, there's a little.
Perfect
Oh.
shot time.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
going in, going in. You said
Oh,
cusk
here
Here
eel?
it comes.
Yeah.
No, sorry, cutthroat. I
Thank you.
misspoke.
These cutthroat eels.
Someone getting pictures
He's
of it.
pissed.
Oh, look at him. Oh, how cute.
You asked for a behavior that we
Or
haven't seen.
It.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Someone
really
should get a picture
interesting.
on the other
Yay.
camera. It's perfect.
Wow.
There he goes.
Yeah. There. That's a sponge next to it, right? Anyway.
Yeah, this behavior is interesting.
The way he keeps opening his mouth.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Is he breathing? He's catching air.
It's trying to scare us away.
Hey, come
Right.
on, please.
Wow, awesome. So one thing that I've been liking to monitor with our visitors and who's engaging with us online is to see where they're visiting us from. And so far we've got folks from the United States, China, Taiwan, Poland, the UK, Finland, Canada, Barbados, and Australia.
That's
pretty
amazing.
awesome.
Wow.
Thank you guys for joining us today or this evening, wherever you are in the world. Interesting.
So is this talus or is this nodules?
Ah, okay, so we got some info about trees.
Somebody wants to answer my question.
I'm sorry.
I don't think it's talus.
Thank you, Lydia in Oregon, for sharing this with us. So trees do grow from the tops / ends of branches, not from the trunks. So as a tree grows, if a branch is, for example, 2 feet from the ground, it will always be 2 feet from the ground.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, we got somebody in Scotland watching us and it's 7:40 a.m. there. Holy
Nice.
cow.
Oh.
Thank you for joining us from Scotland. Aloha.
Someone's staying up really late in the U.S.
Wow, yeah, I wonder
Yeah,
where
unless
they
they're
are.
in Hawaii.
That's true. That's true.
Right, we are the last to go sleep.
Can you zoom in, please?
Got one of the crinoids on there.
Oh,
Okay, come wide.
So to your talus question, it's not talus. Rob, correct me if I'm wrong, but this isn't talus because talus usually denotes that some sort of event that has like broken up the rock, right? Like a base of a scarp or a base of a fault.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is more just scattered rubble.
Rubble.
Scatter
Yeah.
rubble, okay.
Yeah, you usually have a scarp above where the talus ramp is.
And not nodules either.
No.
but are they still all connected? It looks like there's some big slabs of, or is it just all
Oh
broken
yeah,
up
this
pieces
I think
of
this
rock?
is an old sheet flow
Oh,
that kind of covered the surface, and you have collapse pits
okay, I see.
where things have fallen in.
No nodules.
I'm not sure.
Just kidding.
I mean,
You'll zoom in, please.
we got the one, so
Oh, did you get a nodule?
well, we got something in that looks like a nodule,
Oh,
but
good.
we're not sure if it is.
Oh, they're plex.
Yep.
Yeah, they always have that one brittle star.
Right in the center, too.
And their arms are so long, and how like the way the brittle star wraps them around the coral like that.
Besties for the resties.
Resties for the resties. I'm trying something.
Does the star hurt the coral by doing that?
If it's eating it.
Yeah.
Oh, it is? Oh,
Come wide, please.
Is
that'll be
it?
problematic.
No, I don't know. I said if it's eating it.
Oh, that would not be good.
I don't think it's eating it, but Steve was telling us that it can damage them a little bit if the spines on the brittle star, they can kind of create open wounds on the coral in some cases and maybe invite predation.
Oh, how cute.
But other than that, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
So we have a few just comments about the wee hours on the mainland U.S. here. We don't sleep in Kansas. It's very late here, but I'll keep the night watch with you.
Aw.
It's almost 2 a.m. Central CST. I don't get far out of HST. Central Pacific time. The night is just getting started. Almost midnight here in Los Angeles. This is my favorite show to binge watch.
Aw.
Oh, American watching from the East Coast here, smiley face. Awesome, you guys. Thank you for joining us. Please feel free to ask us questions.
It's another purple one.
And here's a question. Oh, yay, it's from the UK.
Oh,
I'm yodeling again.
Maybe?
Yeah, it looks like Victor Gorgia. It's that
Really?
purple, but I'm not sure. I could just be calling it that because it's purple.
Okay, so I have a question from Trevor here in the UK. How long is a single dive, and does the same crew drive the submersibles for the whole trip, or do you swap around? I ask as you were live when I went to bed and still live when I got up again this morning.
Oh.
It has been really interesting seeing all of the different corals and brittle stars, etc. So our dives tend to take, I think we run them, Allison, what, roughly 24 hours-ish, 12 to 24-hour dives?
This trip, we've our longest dive is a little bit over 3 days. So we can stay down as long as the vehicles have power from the ship, which they do unless something's gone wrong.
Yeah, you're right.
And we still have room for samples and everything's working okay.
Awesome. And then we do have different watches that rotate out that enable our crews to get some good rest and be prepared to drive our vehicles. So we do have various pilots that man our submersibles during our watches. So we will rotate in and out.
What was it? Oh.
I mean,
Thank
they
you
got
for
a nice
asking,
8 hours
Trevor.
sleep.
Thanks for pointing it out. You want to unmute yourself?
Guys, we are so consistent.
I had to clear my throat earlier. I forgot. Actually, I think you keep reaching over and muting me.
After we,
You caught me.
Yeah, let's do another step.
All right.
Yep.
What's this coming out of the sand?
Bridge nav.
Is that another sea pen?
Sea pen, I think.
Can we continue on at 220 for another 50 meters?
Zoom in, please.
Thank you.
Oh, is that an
Couple
umbellula
things.
in front of it?
Yeah.
Where?
The
Right
umbellula is
right
kind of at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, okay.
And then I think another sea pen?
Is this a sea pen?
I think umbellula is actually also a sea pen.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think this, I can't tell if this is protoptilum or not.
It looks like that really big one we saw earlier.
Yeah, that looks like it.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, it does, yeah.
Oh,
It's turning around.
Okay, come wide, please.
I really enjoy hearing where everyone's from. It's kind of amazing to have such a worldwide audience. It's pretty cool.
It's very cool. Fly trap an
I
enemy.
think we got another anemone. Maybe?
Yeah, we'll zoom in.
What is it?
Oh yeah, it's another anemone on a coral.
It's very similar arrangement as the other one too.
Yeah.
the coral.
Oh, wow. Is there something on it?
Yep, so the big red part is the anemone, and that's attached to the coral. So that's a black coral, right?
Yeah, I'm confused by that, like yellow coloration.
Yeah, I didn't know what that is either.
Like a
was
maybe like a
wondering.
hydroid or something?
It almost looks like it has the black skeleton there too, though.
Yeah, I think that's the leftover
Oh,
skeleton, but then
unlikely.
maybe something growing on top of it
True.
in addition to the
That
anemone,
could be it.
or like a zoanthid.
Yeah, it looks like Usko's joined us in helping with identification.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool.
Man, those look like nuggets of nodules.
What did the ones that we picked up yesterday end up
I
being
don't know.
like?
I'm not sure if Kevin cut those up. I wasn't around when he was doing that.
Yeah, I just checked the wet lab before coming up, and they are cut now. They look pretty cool. I don't know what it means because I'm not a geologist, but
I think I heard
would
him
love to
saying there was a
know.
lot of like phosphates.
Yeah, there's
okay.
a lot of stuff in the middle of the rocks that looks important.
I mean, he did say that there were some usable rocks from the last dive, so.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yep.
good.
Good.
Is that Plex?
Mm-hmm.
So if we want to make 2230, then we should ascend soon, but unless we want to extend the dive a little bit.
Right. How we feeling, everyone?
Yeah.
We're fine. I mean, it sure would be nice to get near the top to see if there's an abundance of.
Mm-hmm.
Sharks.
That would be ideal
Sharknado
for
at the top of
me.
the hill.
Nudibranchs.
Ooh, yeah,
Yeah.
the rings. I'd be so happy.
I want to see another ctenophore.
Do we have just one more Niskin to pull, or
There's
two?
At least one.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we have two.
And
Whoa.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
That is
Ooh, that is
gorgeous.
pretty.
Is that a golden coral?
What is this?
I feel like I see nodes, but I can't really tell if they're,
Is it a coral?
yeah.
Oh, the little brittle star just fell off.
I know.
And you said maybe a golden coral? Or
I don't know. It just
okay.
the skeleton looks yellow, but
Yeah, it does.
I'm getting some still photos.
Oh, cool.
Well, according to the bathymetry and the dive map that we have, we about 40 more vertical meters to the next waypoint. So
okay, let's see.
It's
might
dropping off your eyes.
might not be a bad time. I mean,
Oh,
good
that's
timing.
nice.
That's a nice
Maybe like
shot.
50
Yeah.
more. 60. Ooh. Find it.
So, sorry, you were saying it might be a good point to pull a Niskin, or wait till we're
No,
up
no.
top?
I mean, oh wait. I mean,
Wait.
we may be able to make the top, the summit, or
I see.
until it rolls over. At least to see if there's an abundance and diversity
Yeah.
up
Go,
there.
come on,
Yeah, let's go
please.
up.
See if I can throw the porch light on.
That
for a
was
sec,
also a black coral.
And then see if I can get
Oh, awesome. So we got some new joiners from the
Second camera.
Philippines, India, Hong Kong, and Germany. Rad. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, welcome.
Barbados too.
Yeah, they've been here. Yeah,
have they?
Barbados. Yeah. Hi. Thinking of all the food from those places. That'd be awesome. Anyway, don't talk about food.
You get some still shots there?
Yeah, I got some.
It's, the light's better on it right now for you.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll get some more.
get a couple more, yeah.
Good.
That's pretty cool.
Nice composition.
It's like a big question mark.
Cool, okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the consensus there?
Get to the top
Get to the top. All right.
Yes.
of the mountain, not the surface.
Well, at least to the top of the steep area here.
Okay. All right.
What's the range on that, Emma?
To here, it is 130 meters to waypoint 6, 300.
Okay. Well, let's put another step, and
Yeah.
We'll keep on trucking.
Another plex over here.
Mm-hmm.
Bridge nav.
Got a sponge and a plex.
Can we do another step of 220 at 0.2 knots for 130 meters?
Zoom in, please.
Thank you.
Got a couple of sponges there.
Oh, wow.
Got some
Glass
yeah.
sponge and a crinoid.
Look at all those brittle
Yeah.
stars.
Oh yeah, there is a little crinoid on the sponge. Oh, there they
Oh,
go.
he's gonna go to.
It's like they're at the gym at the rock wall. Oops. Rappel down.
It's their CrossFit.
That's nice.
Oh, that's a cool one.
Is that a pictureable?
That's cool.
Oh, come wide, please. We got time to do that up to the top?
Yeah, I mean, as long as we've got people on deck.
Right. Yeah, it's just going to push it a bit later, hey?
Probably won't hit a 4 a.m. launch.
All right. Well, it's your call.
Well, it doesn't look like there's going to be much of a cliff here, so based on the contours.
No,
We
it's gonna kind of just start
Reaching
flattening
the
out
end
now.
of the
Yeah.
steep point, yeah.
So, oh, there's some.
Takes just over an hour and a half to reach the surface.
Yeah,
Yeah,
these white things.
What?
I think that's the
Oh.
old.
The old
Say?
peduncles.
Old
15
small
meters per minute.
caster or something, or
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
what is that?
At
That was
15?
the math that got getting lost. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
Huh?
It's probably about right.
Gosh,
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you said 50. I was
1.5
confused.
1.5
Yeah, that
meters
makes,
per minute. Yeah.
that's good. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yes. A lot of plexards up here.
Oh, boy.
What do you think, Liz? You think it's going to happen, or
Do I think what's going to happen?
a garden up here?
I don't know.
Well, there's a couple of things up here.
We're not. We're like, where are we trying to go? Like up here?
Yeah, I just want to get above where it starts to flatten out.
Big sponge up there.
Plexord.
Oh, big sponge.
Yeah.
I'm near the end of my tether. Those are funny looking sponges. Hey?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Zoom in, please.
Yeah. Crinoid on top.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
A plexord in the background.
What kind of sponge is that?
It's a Hawaiian sponge. It's got a grass skirt on it.
I love it. Bring in the hula now. Hula sponge with crinoid.
Got some brittle
Is that a
stars on the
crinoid?
Yeah, it does.
basal.
Mm-hmm. Is that the
Oh, that's
Hyalonema?
cool. Wow.
Oh yeah, it does have that same
Yeah.
grass skirt looking thing. I guess those are probably spicules, or?
Oh, come on, please.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, it's so pretty. Those are different than the sponges we've been
And there's
seeing.
another one.
Yeah. I'm curious about the other side. Is it like a big osculum opening on the other side, or is it kind of webbed or what?
Okay, so we do have another question coming in here about regarding the brittle stars. The brittle stars that I've seen are black. Are these because, are these white because they are so deep?
They come in a lot of different colors. We've seen orange ones, we've seen white ones, pink.
Right, but weren't you talking about the different tones of color? Like a lot of the deep sea creatures will tend to absorb like the reds a lot and that's
Yeah, so at this depth, you know, normally anything that's red is going to appear black because red light doesn't penetrate through water very far. So things are often red in the deep sea for camouflage reasons, but we're also seeing a lot of other colors, especially in these corals and crinoids, and I don't know necessarily if there's a known reason for, like, for example, the yellows and
the
like
blues,
purple.
right? There's that purple.
So I guess I don't really know. But basically, camouflage is very different in the deep sea.
Sure.
So I don't know, Josh. I think whenever you wanna.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Okay.
Okay.
But thanks for trying.
Sure.
Sounds good.
Do you want to pop a Niskin before we come up?
What do you think, Liz? Should we pop a Niskin, or is it just?
It's not a lot up here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I am going to,
Bridge now.
I'm just going to drive west.
Are we ready to go?
Actually, Steve does want us to pop a Niskin for a background sample. So if we could do that.
Did you hear that, Josh?
Yep.
Yep.
I'll just have him hold position.
Position.
Can you hold position?
Pop a Niskin.
Thank you.
Can you rack the camera back?
Yep.
Oh, we got Pakistans in the house. Spain. Hey, Spain.
It's the P&T retract. Top right.
Oh, we have an ID for this sponge. Poliopogon.
So we've got Niskins 1 and 2 free.
Okay.
Over 2. Okay, 2
Pop goes the Niskin.
He opened that was the way to open the Niskin?
Closed it.
Oh, got it.
And that is Niskin, sorry, sample number
You just
063.
said pop goes the Niskin?
063?
Yeah.
063.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. We just received just a nice comment. Oh, makakilo, Hawaii. Aloha mai, makakilo, mahalo nui for joining us.
All right.
Hawaii in the house. Iki no kako. So Gab, just wanted to say hi. Just wanted to say that I really love what you guys do. I'm beyond happy to finally watch an exploration live. Currently watching while studying. Good job. Thank you so much for sharing this experience with everyone else. I wish you all the best. Awesome, you guys.
Thank you.
That's a very nice comment.
You are going to turn to
I love
port.
Makakilo.
What do you want me to do?
I'm going to drive kind of west this
Yep.
way. This way. And
West.
then I want you to turn to port.
Okay.
Yeah, west, sorry. Yeah,
East.
drive west. And you turn to port and
Got it.
face the other way. Oh, a little lobster guy?
Okay.
No, it's not.
Well, it's a higher abundance here,
Yeah,
but nothing big.
no.
Oh, hey, Dallas. Aloha mai. Dallas, Texas is in the house. Here, awesome getting to see you all get to explore.
Good port.
Gosh, what time is it in Texas?
5 hours later.
Okay. Now I have to do the math.
And then you can start
Bridge
coming
half.
up, yeah.
Ready?
Yep.
Just letting you know that the approximate
can take your
recovery
auto
time
heading
is 22:45.
What's that?
Auto heading off.
Oh, yeah. You gonna do 15?
Yeah, we'll start there and see how it goes. Might, oh, I have dropped.
Oh, interesting. Oh, we're in the blue water.
Maybe we'll see something
So
cool.
Trevor sent a question. If you find something new to science on a trip like this, who gets to name it? So I know for us in Hawaii, we have a nomenclature committee that works with scientists and others within Papahana Mokuakea. So when newly discovered species, seamounts, or other things within that particular monument, we all come together to create a name for that organism, and then it goes on from there. As far as the scientific naming process, I think that's a little bit deeper. We tend to focus on common names. We did create a scientific naming process, but oh, Sydney. Hi, Sydney, Australia.
Wow.
But I think it depends on what the scientist feels would be the best approach for naming. Rob, do you have anything to chime in on that? I know you shared about that before.
Well, yeah, I think like for animals, it's often the person who identifies it as a new species has the ability to name the feature, but it still has to go through a bit of a review process.
Yeah, I know for us, when they've discovered new species in the monument, the scientists will bring and then we'll work together to make them. But yeah, they'll tend to go and create
Yeah, this is going
the
faster.
names. Oh, we have a night owl. And we have some aloha from Sydney, Australia. I always love catching one of your streams. You've all inspired me to do earth science as a degree. I hope I get to work in a cool team like this. Stay connected.
That's awesome.
Thank you guys.
It's got to be perfect. I know. I'm kidding. Yeah.
Ah, Sydney. That's cool. This is a good one.
Yeah, yeah. Is that why that's over here now? Got hit by a bus. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, yeah.
I had a question. How many times was Johnson Atoll switched back and forth between being owned by the military and by the Park Service?
I will try to find that for you. I think from what I know, the military era sometimes lasted for decades. I know that they were also managed at the same time by the military and by DOI. There were times where there was both agencies were present, but the exact number of back and forth that's something I'll have to find out for you. Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, we got somebody from Michigan. Tanya's in Michigan. Oh, she's on mute. No. You're on mute. Yeah, I knew you. No. That's, yes. So our next question this is for anyone who would like to answer. What is the craziest thing you have seen while traveling up the water column at the end of the dive? Anything crazy?
Swarms of squid inking us.
You sometimes get schools of fish, not on our watch, but on another one they saw a bunch of mahi-mahi.
Right, I saw that in the video.
Yeah.
Like, dang, look at all those. Wow. Do you see the octopus in these regions too? Like, would we find the Dumbos, or would
Not
they
at the surface.
Like midwater maybe? Like, would you kind of see them as you're coming
Dumbos
up,
aren't midwater, but there are midwater octopuses.
Got it.
Jafatella is one of them.
Did you see jellyfish?
Yeah.
Ah,
We usually see some siphonophores on the way up or down.
cool.
Those are those really long colonial jellyfish.
Oh, neato.
Seen a mola mola before from the
Oh,
ROV
cool.
near the surface.
Mola.
That was cool.
Sorry. I'm containing myself. Okay. So we have another question here. I feel silly asking this, but what exactly happens when you retrieve the vehicles from the depths? Is it the ship doing the work, or the vessels, or all of the above?
And the people.
I would say it's the crew, and it's all of it. Yeah. It's a pretty amazing task to observe, for sure, but...
Yeah, there's a big winch on board the ship that we're running right now, which pulls Atalanta up to the ship. And then, of course, Hercules is attached to Atalanta. So we're driving Herc up with thrusters, and then we're winching Atalanta in with a winch on the ship.
Thank you, Josh. And if you folks take a look at channel 3, that gives you a good visual of the winches that are pulling the ROVs up back to the ship. And then we do have our crew that work really hard to extract all of our ROVs safely onto the ship. Thank you for asking. Oh, and it's 3:15 a.m. in Michigan. Wow, Jason.
You might have to slow down just a touch.
Cool. Thank you.
It's interesting that every time you guys touch that, it starts ringing.
It's a grounding. It's a little bit of
cool.
a ground issue.
It's kind of funny.
Is that good?
Yeah, good job. So another question here. When is the next dive? I watched this dive for 6 hours straight as I studied for my physics final. Good job studying for your physics final.
Good luck.
Y'all are doing amazing
no,
work.
Actually, sorry, you can speed back up to 15.
Good luck on your final.
We will provide that information for you in our next, so just keep following us on our Nautilus website. We'll give you information about our next dive. Thank you for asking. Good luck on your finals.
And if you need something else to study too, you can also check out the Nautilus Live website. And
Oh yeah.
I think all of the videos streams are archived, so you can go watch any of the dives we've done.
Right, and we just posted a highlight of our Johnston Atoll dive.
Yeah.
So yeah, check them out. That'll help you stay focused. What was I just thinking? Oh. So as we were traveling through this blue water, I wanted to kind of hand it over to our fish and wildlife expert who spends a lot of time in Johnston's Atoll to see if he can share with us some of the interesting things that he's experienced throughout his professional career working with Johnstons. What are the current conservation efforts? What things are you seeing after different cleanup experiences? And what are the next steps for the monument?
Yeah, I have only been part of a great success story, which is the eradication of the yellow crazy ants. But prior to that, there were biologists that would head out there and do contaminants analysis. They were working hand in hand with the Air Force and with the Army during all the contingency cleanup aspects of Johnston. And those people are still with us today. Our
amazing.
contaminants biologist has been with us for over 3 decades. And she's still, Leanne Woodward, yeah, she's still working with us. So I'm sure she has more compelling stories to tell, but
Sure.
I can definitely chime in on this actually it's been, when the yellow crazy ants were discovered in Johnston over a decade ago. And we have sent a total of 20 different crews of 6 people to exterminate the ants, and it took about 10 years to get rid of the ants. The ants were brought there the same way that all the other exotic species were brought to Johnston. That was during the military occupation of Johnston. All the folks that were coming in to bring in even topsoil that was brought to Johnston. In order to cultivate plants, etc. All that carried a lot of seeds and also many ants. There's 11 species of ants in Johnston, but only one has been very detrimental to the bird populations, and they were affecting thousands of species of birds. They spray formic acid, and unfortunately that can blind many of the birds, and a blind bird is a dead bird. So when the agency folks started noticing these mortalities, and we started immediately, upon that same year, we deployed the very first yellow crazy ant cast team, strike team. And in a matter of about 10 years, we even brought conservation detection dogs out there to sniff out for the ants. And luckily they didn't identify any, they did not detect any, and we also sent the last crew last year for 6 months to try to do visual detections, and they also did not see any more ants. The last time that a yellow crazy ant was seen at Johnston was 3 years ago, so that's how long it's been since potentially the eradication met success. So the birds are happy out there, very happy, and we know that by the numbers. And the numbers of birds out there is just so astonishing to see, and it tells us a lot about the health and the status of the atoll and the waters, the food they're consuming, the places where they're nesting. The wildlife is doing great. The Army's done a great job cleaning up the mess from the history out there, and right now we are contemplating what other exotic species we could probably do away with to improve habitat for these nesting seabirds and shorebirds. So right now we don't have a particular project going on in Johnston at this very moment after we eradicated the yellow crazy ants.
So now it's more monitoring efforts and just staying connected with the communities tied to the monument and so forth.
Yep,
cool.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thank you, Yvonne, for sharing that. Rob, I'm curious to know, what got you into rocks? How did that passion start? Was it just, yeah.
Well, I always thought I wanted to be a biologist.
Uh-huh.
But in hindsight, I grew up in an area where there was a lot of gravel pits.
Interesting.
And I used to go into the gravel pits and break open rocks and look at the fossils in them.
Wow, we would find fossils in the rocks?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Really? What would you find?
Well, I have, brachiopods in crinoid stems.
Wow.
And I found some corals one time.
Wow.
But yeah, it's very abundant fossils in that area where I grew up.
That's awesome.
And,
so that really just ignited the passion of curiosity, huh?
No, I didn't. I mean, my earth science teacher, geology teacher in high school wasn't that, great, but the biology teacher was incredible.
Uh-huh.
And so I went to college, to be a biology major, thinking I'd want to do marine biology or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I took a course in oceanography, and the instructor indicated the people getting jobs in marine biology versus geophysics.
Interesting.
And so I changed my major to geology, and I just thought it was a great change.
Yeah. Well, and you can see that in just the knowledge that you share and just the, your interest and your research here is amazing. Cool. Thank you for sharing, Rob. That's awesome. Oh, thank you for the candy. So Liz, in regards to your journey, what brought you to Hawaii? What drew your interest in marine science, ocean, relationships, all of that good stuff, especially coming from Colorado, right?
Seattle.
Seattle, thank you, Susan, pardon me.
That's okay. I mean, I was always around the ocean as a kid. I lived on a boat for a year.
Wow.
And, my family owned a sailboat. We would be out on it frequently, so I always really loved the ocean. But I guess I didn't really seriously consider myself going into marine biology. I guess I just didn't really think of that as, like, something I could do as a career option. But in college, I was just a general biology major. And I went to a small college where I was able to explore a lot of different aspects of biology. And I actually, in undergrad, I did a senior thesis on something to do with plant ecology, actually.
Wow.
I thought I might want to go into some sort of terrestrial ecology. I was also interested in, like, molecular neuroscience, that sort of stuff. I was kind of all over the place. But I ended up doing a study abroad program in the Caribbean in Turks and Caicos, where I was able to do marine research for the first time, and that kind of what made me realize, like, yeah, this is really what I could see myself doing. So
awesome.
Yeah, and I've always especially been really interested in the deep sea. That was kind of another thing where I could never really think that I would actually get to do deep sea research. It seemed like sort of impossibly far away, but applied to grad programs and ended up getting into University of Hawaii, where I'm in a lab that focuses on deep sea ecology, and it's been really great.
What an awesome journey, and just the different voyages we take that wind us up, in the present space that we're in now. And
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
what we're gaining from those experiences. That's awesome. Thank you, Liz. Yeah, I can see that when we ask you all of our bio questions. Thank you for always responding.
Yeah, I'm not always, I don't know everything, but I'm doing my best to try to
Right, and don't you kind of
answer.
find, like, as we get older in our education and masters, we're specialized in different areas of marine science, biology, or whatever our degree is, but then we also understand that there are things that we are still learning.
Yeah, before
and
this
knowing.
expedition, I had pretty much no knowledge about deep sea corals, and I still have very little, but I'm trying my best to learn, and it's been really cool.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing space with us here on the voyage. Taylor, it's on you now, so I want to know what your journey is. What brought you over? What brought you here?
So I grew up in the Midwest, so I did not grow up next to the ocean, but I did go to the aquarium a lot and the Great Lakes. I think, going to the Shedd Aquarium in Chicago was the first, experience I ever had with the ocean, and I don't think I physically saw the real ocean until I was like 18 or 19 years old. But yeah, I always knew I loved nature. I was always a kid playing outside, collecting rocks at the beach, just playing in the water and getting messy. And I always would do what I would call science experiments, which was just mixing things together in my mom's kitchen and making her eat it.
Mom.
But yeah, I think I didn't really realize that I wanted to be a marine biologist because I didn't know what that was. I didn't see anyone around me like that. I didn't even know you could do that as a career, let alone like exploration. Like, no, I had no idea. So when I went to college, I was, soul searching, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I also flip-flopped between a lot of different degrees. I started off, I wanted to make documentaries, which is something I still kind of want to do. But then I switched to pre-veterinary science because I love animals. But then I realized that my passion was for the ocean once I saw a documentary called Mission Blue. And yeah, I was like, oh, wow, okay, I really need to help save the ocean. We need as many people as possible on this job now. And this is something that I think I would love to do. And then, I got a general degree in biology. It took me about 4 years to get an internship experience with marine science, but I finally did. And I finally found my way to the Nautilus my first year of my graduate program.
Awesome. Wow, that's awesome, Lee.
I did want to mention that when I was in college, I used to watch the Nautilus live streams sometimes, actually, when I was studying, and it was definitely like, oh, I'll never get to do that. That's so cool. So it's pretty cool for me to actually be able to be out here.
And then here you're sitting here in this space doing it now, like from that moment, just watching it as, and then now you're contributing to the imagery and the videos and the information. That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Emma, I know that you're quite the voyager. You've done a lot of sailing. You've spent a lot of time on the ocean. So what drew you to this pathway for career pathway?
Well, I grew up on the water in Annapolis, and in Annapolis, the education system there stresses environmental science really heavily, so I was always super into it from the start. And then I grew up on a sailboat for a year and a half in the Caribbean, and I got to snorkel and see all of these different corals and stuff, and so I just went from like loving to learn about estuaries in Chesapeake Bay to like really wanting to know more about ocean science. And then I joined the Coast Guard because I wanted to have a job on the water. And I found this internship, and I jumped on the opportunity, and I'm so happy to be here. Because it kind of combines everything that I really like to do.
Oh, that's awesome. When then I heard both of you, Liz and Emma, spent about a year on a ship, a sailing.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, we were talking. We actually
there were
a lot
so many
of similarities in our growing
up. Of like you were in the Pacific, and Emma, you're on the Atlantic, right? So it's kind of equal and opposite realms, but still.
Yeah, instead of the Caribbean, my family, we spent a year going down to Mexico.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, the food.
We did at like the same age, same length of boat, same time.
Oh, cool. What an awesome balance, Oh, right on. Thank you so much. And if our pilots would like to share what got them on this journey. I know, Josh, you do a lot of ROV stuff at home on your downtime. What brought you into ROVs? Was this a pathway that you thought you would ever have, or something you were looking towards, or was it?
Yeah, it was, I mean, my schooling background is in biology.
Wow.
And I, kind of the early 2000s, well, I guess when I was in, I guess going way back, when I was in university, in one of the ocean science courses I was taking, one of my professors was Verena Tunnicliffe, who is pretty well known in Canadian science. She's actually, I think, was given the Order of Canada recently.
Yeah, she was.
It was pretty
Wow.
cool.
Wow.
And she would go on these cruises with Ropos when I was in her class, and which is the Canadian Scientific Submersible Facility, Canadian Science ROV, run out of Victoria, British Columbia, on Vancouver Island. And she would tell these stories about being at sea and using ROVs for data collection or work, and it was super fascinating. And I never really thought that I would kind of get to do that sort of thing. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do at that stage,
Yeah.
but I was pretty hooked on it, and I remember that kind of vividly, those times. And then many years later, I've started doing work with ROVs as a biologist, and kind of got hooked on the technology, kind of remembering those stories, and kind of over a period of time, one thing led to another, kind of meet the people in the ROV sort of world when you start breaking your ROVs, because they always break, and learning how to fix them. And you kind of, the community is really small, especially on Vancouver Island, and just kind of grew from there. And I kind of shifted at one stage. I ended up getting this really weird opportunity to go work as a contractor with a group that was combining a ROV with a fellabuncher. So they were actually harvesting wood timber out of submerged forest in lakes that were built for hydro dams, and there was like rooted in the ground trees that were just underwater.
I was just going to
ask. And they were going to go. They built this machine to go harvest them. So anyway, I ended up working with them for.
I get it.
Yeah, speed up. About 5 years. I went there for a 2-week contract, and I stayed there for 5 years.
Wow, cool.
That's awesome.
And I met a bunch of the people I know now, like still. We ended up, it was like prototype kind of phase, and I really got into kind of the engineering and prototyping and operations, helped develop that system. We built 2 ROVs that cut wood underwater. Ended up, we were in this little company on Vancouver Island. We actually worked on the coast. We had an operation on the coast of BC, just in a little lake. And then we ended up we had a big contract in the central part of British Columbia with one of the big power companies. And then we ended up taking the operation in Malaysia.
Wow.
And so I was heavily involved at that point, running crews and teaching people how to operate and cut wood underwater. It's kind of weird.
Right.
But
yeah.
So that's where I kind of really learned the real foundation of like the technology, underwater navigation, kind of data collection, because there was like a heavy data collection component. Kind of really combined a lot of the skills that I had. And I piloted a ton. It was literally like I was almost like an excavator operator. Like it was like I was 5 days a week, 8 hours a day flying an ROV. Like it was pretty wild. And so I got a ton of hours, and in like the most challenging environment you could possibly think of for an ROV. Like you just don't do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then after that was over, I started going back to contracting, and then I ended up getting some contract work with Ropos right after that.
Wow.
And
So I came full circle.
Yeah, I kind of came full circle, and now I started my own business on Vancouver Island. So I have a small boat ROV operation there that I run when I'm not here, or sort of while I'm here, and all the time. Kind of manage that, and funny story too, because Gibson, who's the ROV intern here now, his father actually works with me.
Oh, cool.
And he helps run that small boat operation.
It's pretty neat.
So yeah, it's kind of all tied together. So
Right, the connections.
yeah, so it's been kind of a long journey, but and I got to work with Verena later, which was really cool. I went on a bunch of cruises with her,
Oh,
and I
awesome.
remember telling her that story about how she really inspired me, and it was pretty neat. Like she was pretty touched by it, I think, and we were sitting together, like she's in the hot seat, which we called this when the scientist's sitting next to you. Oftentimes on other ships, when you're piloting the RV, the lead scientist will sit right next to you and just kind of like be right in your, like telling you what to do. So we call it the hot seat. And I would just tell her the story, and it was pretty cool.
Right,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
a lot of fun with that. So
It's like you're piloting origin story.
Well, and that's fun about the journeys we take in life, right? The
Yeah,
pathway
yeah,
isn't
it's
always
pretty
straight,
wild, so.
you know, and then,
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, right, it kind of shapes all of who we are and our goals. Allison, how about you? What was that first spark that drove you and brought you to ocean science and
Yeah,
being
well,
a part of the Nautilus?
kind of like Taylor and I think a couple other people, I also did not grow up on the ocean. So I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee, which is very landlocked.
Wow, Nashville,
But
Tennessee.
spent a lot of time on the water in lakes and creeks and just, we used to have a creek in our backyard, and I used to just play around in it, look for crawdads, and really just explore. Absolutely loved it.
Right.
So fun.
But my grandparents, like a lot of grandparents, lived in Florida, and we'd go to visit them. And I remember being very little, maybe like 5 or 6, and we went on this like glass bottom boat tour. And I was just enamored with everything that was underneath the boat. And so I knew at a very young age that I loved it. Got certified to scuba dive at the youngest age that you could.
Oh, really?
So
What age is that now?
14.
Wow.
Yeah, so I kept chasing opportunities, building aquariums, that kind of thing.
Oh, cool.
So I kind of fell in love with science. I also fell in love with education and art. So when I was graduating high school, I was pretty convinced I wanted to be a science or art teacher, or maybe both.
Right.
And so that's kind of the path that I pursued in undergrad. So I did a lot of biology or ecology. So in undergrad, I did a lot of tropical marine ecology. So focused a lot on tropical reefs and fish behavior. So I was mostly focused on ichthyology, or the study of fishes.
Yeah.
And landed a job teaching shortly after college. So I taught high school biology and chemistry for a few years. And then just had the itch to travel a bit and have a little bit of an adventure, and found an opportunity to hop on my first cruise and absolutely fell in love with it. And my first cruise was to a place called the East Pacific Rise at 9 North, which is a mid-ocean ridge.
It's a pretty good first cruise.
Very active area. And it had just erupted. And so there was brand new, fresh lava flows that we were doing. Alvin, the submarine, dives on it. And I was working with a system that's very similar to Argus and Atalanta, and towing that overnight while the submarine team was charging the sub batteries. So we're doing a lot of imaging of the seafloor, very much like we do with Argus if we're not using Hercules. But anyway, I absolutely fell in love with it, and kind of chased that camera system around the world for a few years. Kind of started contracting for the group that ran it, which was the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute. But eventually, I had a couple of people chattering in my ear that I should probably go back to school. So I ended up pursuing my master's in geology at that point. And I was doing a lot of trips back to the East Pacific Rise, because there was, at the time, a lot of dedicated funding to do research there.
Yeah.
So my master's thesis did a lot of the geochemistry and mapping of the lava morphologies of the first known repeat eruption at a mid-ocean ridge.
Wow.
So that's what I focused a lot on. And then after that, and using that skill set, I worked at the University of Washington for a little bit. They were installing the world's largest seafloor observatory, cabled observatory. And so part of that cabled observatory was is now laid across a very active seamount. And so since I had some knowledge about how submarine volcanoes work, that knowledge kind of really came in useful in kind of mapping out some potential cable routes. So we were doing a lot of surveys and trying to decide where the cable was going to go and where all the instruments and sensors were going to go. So spent a few years doing that, but at the same time really used my passion for education and my my position at the University of Washington was to take that cabled observatory and kind of think through ways that you could bring some of the real-time data that it was going to result in into the classroom. So,
wow.
and then from
What a
there, I
journey.
joined OET. I first started with OET as Director of Education, and that was in 2013, and that was to kind of build up our internship program and science communication fellowship and all of our education programs. So I've been with OET almost 10 years now.
That's amazing. Wow, thank you guys. That was awesome. I love hearing about the journeys that lead us to where we are today, you know. It's because it's like we say, and it's never a straight line. It's always meandering. Dave, now you have a broadcasting background, right? So you've worked a lot in radio. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh yeah, everything, radio, television.
Yeah. Well, and your skills are so, like being in this van is amazing.
Post-production, videography, broadcast engineering, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. What brought you into, or what built that passion or drew you into that?
I continue my reputation as the dumbest guy on the boat. I don't have a degree. I went to several colleges for short periods of time, but was always interested in technology. I also grew up in Seattle. I grew up and spent a lot of time on Puget Sound, Washington, ocean beaches, Oregon ocean beaches, because I had family down in Oregon, and was always in the water, digging stuff up, tide pools,
almost 19
torturing
now.
small animals, that kind of stuff. But was also interested in technology. So when I was 14, Allison got her scuba certification, but when I was 14, I got my ham license and was interested in electronics then.
Amazing.
It was mostly a way to get merit badges in Boy Scouts. I was a Boy Scout from the time I was a Cub Scout, starting at 8 and all the way through till I was 17. I was 3 merit badges on a service project shy of Eagle Scout.
Get down.
But I was always interested in electronics. I moved to Anchorage, Alaska in 1975. That's a whole different story. My wife and I met at the University of Washington in Seattle, and she was going there. I was not. I was hanging out because it was a good place to meet girls. So that worked out. And went into the broadcast. I walked into a TV station one day with a second-class FCC radio telephone license that I had just gotten. The ink was still wet on, and started working for a TV and radio station combination in 1977. And
wow.
If you do the math, that's 45 years in the broadcast industry. I've designed and built whole television stations, small television systems like this one, bigger ones, smaller ones, that kind of stuff. But in 2005, I went to work for the campus TV station at the University of Washington, and the oceanography department was in the process of acquiring an HD camera, HD underwater camera, just like the one we have on Herc now, and wanted some support for that to be able to record HD video, monitor HD video, display HD video in the ship, which is the Thompson. And so I designed and built a system and then ended up going out on the Thompson for about 3 weeks in 2005.
Wow.
And like Allison's first exposure was a really cool and active area. I went to a really cool and active area off of Vancouver Island, the Endeavour vent field. That was my first trip, and imaged that for the first time in HD.
Oh my goodness.
And did live satellite transmission off of the ship, because I'm also a satellite engineer, and did live shows off of the ship. I did the first live HD over IP show from live video from a ship at sea, first
Wow.
ever, and intersected with Allison at the University of Washington for a brief time because we did
Wow.
some of the initial surveys for the underwater cabled
Really?
observatory
Oh,
with
that's
the
neat.
oceanography department
And
there.
Josh.
And Josh.
And Josh,
Yep.
wow.
And Bob Waters and gosh, other folks that we keep.
It's a very
like,
small community.
like Josh says, it's a very small community.
Right, yeah.
And you know, so that was my first taste of oceanography. Loved it, and then continued to work with the oceanography department while I was at the university. Ended up leaving the university in 2013 to go and build a television facility in Anchorage, Alaska.
Wow.
And then got a call from a mutual friend of ours that had also sailed on the Thompson and built them their next small video system to record HD and that kind of stuff. That's Ed McNichol. And Ed and I became business partners. He called me and said, I've sailed on this ship called the Nautilus, and their video system could use a little revamp, and so came in to basically as a contractor to consult on what to do next with the video system, and then started going out on the ship and operating that system while we were designing this system.
Wow.
And then go out on the ship to operate this system now.
Did you know that Allison and Josh were involved in the Nautilus when you came on, or was it a surprise to?
They weren't yet. None of us were
really?
at that point. And then
okay.
it was not until later that Ed, who had been on the working at the University of Washington, was also on the Thompson. And that took him to other ships like other ROV systems like Ropos and others, University of Victoria, that kind of stuff. And then that, I think it was a trick on the Okeanos Explorer for Ed that got him in touch with somebody that he came as a fill-in video engineer. Here, no? Was it here first?
It was me.
It was.
Was it you?
Yeah.
Well, I knew you were involved, but I knew he was on other ships as well.
Oh yes,
So-
he was on Okeanos before
Yep.
Nautilus. Yes.
Yep.
That's true.
Yep. So,
Wow.
so yeah. Once again, it's the little interconnected web of small community of people that have worked together, and we like working together. And,
You can very much tell that too.
Yeah.
It's really, it
Oh, yeah.
emanates in, the energy
yeah.
that's
And
on the
when Ed
ship.
said that Allison was involved in this, I was like, well, I'm in.
Right, automatic.
Not
How
a
could
problem.
you not be?
So, that kind of stuff.
Oh, what a beautiful
I'm gonna
story.
butter
me
Allison
up,
up.
butter me up.
Right, her
yeah.
cheekies are getting rosy. Oh, that's cool.
So
oh
that's
my
it.
gosh.
I went to, when COVID hit, I got laid off from my regular staff job and never looked back. And started doing this more
Right.
full-time.
Great.
And this is my retirement gig. When I'm on shore, I'm retired.
Right. Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm just not on
When,
shore all
yeah,
the
when
time.
was the last
Yeah,
time?
when's the last time you touched land?
You're just not on shore all the time. Oh, wow. Thank you, Dave. What a beautiful
welcome.
story, you guys. All connected. I love it. Yvonne, your journey, what brought you? You were sharing about your dad and his experiences and connection to the ocean.
Yeah,
How
Dave,
did that,
I also
shape
plan to
your-
never retire. That's for sure. The happiest people are those who never stop
I keep
doing something.
trying to figure it out, but I get bored. And,
Right,
wanna go do stuff.
the boredom kicks in, huh? So what started your journey? What brought you here? How'd you end up right here on the ship?
Well, yeah, it started long ago. When I was 13, I already knew that this was the agency I wanted to work for, which is crazy. I started
Wow.
volunteering when I was 13 with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service,
Awesome.
working with parrots in the rainforest, with leatherback sea turtles, and beautiful sandy beaches in Culebra and Vieques, right off the east coast of Puerto Rico.
Wow.
And the reason why I got involved as a volunteer is because my dad, he's a marine biologist, so he tried to expose me as much as he could to the ocean, and I told him, Dad, I like the ocean, but I like the mountains better, and I'm more fascinated with birds than I am with your sponges. My dad's a sponge
Right,
expert.
he's a sponge guy.
Yeah, and so is my brother, and my brother's into sponges as well. So I was the one that took to the land and wanted to be just more grounded in forest. And but little did I know that 10 years in, I've been with this agency for 22 years now.
Wow.
10 years into this agency, I ended up working with manatees in Florida, and that was fascinating. I devoted 11 years to conservation with manatees in Florida, but there was much more over
Oh, you
there.
worked with the manatees?
Yeah, yeah. I did a lot of work there in the #1 wintering resting area for manatees in Florida, which sometimes we ended up getting as many as 800 manatees at one time in a small bay that was only 500 acres.
Wow.
So that's a lot of manatees
That is a lot
in
of
a small
manatees.
area. And I got to do some work with in the salt marsh, in seagrass beds, in barrier islands. So I got to work with a huge diversity of species over there while I was working with manatees. I got to work with a lot of terns, such as sandwich terns and royal terns, colonies in places right off the St. Pete. We're talking about Egmont Key, Pinellas National Wildlife Refuge. These are all barrier islands and mangrove islands. And got to do some great work with waterfowl, with wading birds,
Wow.
with shorebirds, and my favorite actually project was working with whooping cranes.
Oh, wow.
And that was what I was fascinated the most in Florida was with the ultralight whooping crane migration that Operation Migration put together, bringing birds all the way from Wisconsin to Florida, following ultralight planes.
Huh.
And I got to work with those birds in Chesahowitzka National Wildlife Refuge. We built a pen, predator-proof pen, and we were in a way helping raise the chicks that were following the ultralights from Wisconsin to Florida.
Wow.
And we were working with about 11, 12 birds at a time. But the birds didn't want to migrate on their own all the way down there. They were stopping in midpoint. So that project, that was what we call an experimental population. It's basically a non-essential experimental population. That's how it's known, because it's basically trying to bring a species back to its historical range. But it is an experiment, and it's called non-essential because the population that's essential is a naturally occurring population that is doing everything on its own without human interference. And that was a population from Wood Buffalo, Canada, to Aransas, Texas. About 500 whooping cranes at the time.
Wow.
Were flying from Canada to Texas, and we were just trying to reestablish a population by teaching them how to fly behind ultralight planes.
Interesting.
in Patuxent in Maryland. That's where a lot of the eggs were reared, exposed to the sound and vibrations of the ultralight planes. And then those eggs were brought to Nisita in Wisconsin. They were hatched there, and then they were flown from Nisita to to Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, just like the
That's
movie
cool.
Fly Away Home, with you ever saw that movie? Yeah,
No,
just like that. The Disney movie.
I'm going to have to watch it now.
And
Milo
then
and Otis. I saw Milo and Otis.
and then Florida I got sick of Florida after 11 years, and I ended up in DC and headquarters, and then this position came open almost 3 years ago.
Oh, wow. So this
and
is...
I decided to just go where my heart resonated with the land and the ocean. And I had visited Hawaii once before, and I knew this was where my heart would be the happiest.
Wow, cool.
So I left all the biopolitical bureaucracy in DC, left it all behind and came here to paradise.
There you go, right?
Yeah.
Therapy in itself.
Yeah.
You can't beat it. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Yvonne, for sharing. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. I know we got a new freshie that just came in, so I'm going to ask her to share about her journey and what brought her to the ocean and her education and interest in being here with all of us. Kukui, you're up.
Mahalo nui hoku. Yeah, aloha mai
heck yeah.
kako, everybody. That's a very good question. Well, I grew up in Maui, and so as a kid, I lived up in the mountain area, so I didn't really get a chance to go to the beach a lot. But every single time I did, I fell more and more in love with it, and I learned so many lessons from it. And so I guess that's where my interest in participating in marine science stemmed from. And also just living with my dad and my mom. And my dad's a very, he's a big ocean person, so he loves to surf, he loves to paddle canoe. So I was able to surf with him when I was growing up. And then I also have a cousin who actually works as an oceanographer for NOAA up in Alaska.
Awesome.
And so when we went to go visit her, she gave us a little tour of her lab, and I was like, wow, you can actually do this for a living. And so ever since then, I had my my eyes set on the University of Hawaii at Hilo, actually.
Oh, cool.
There, I knew that I could, you know, major in marine science and also be engaged in Hawaiian studies. So that's where I plan to get my minor in it. And so before that, I also went to a Kamehameha Schools, Maui. And nice. Over there, I also had a lot of wonderful teachers and friends who helped guide me more into this direction of being in the ocean for my career. And so I was able to participate in programs like Kanehuna Moku Voyaging Academy.
Awesome program.
And yeah, I loved it.
Unreal.
Antiloa, Antikahas. They're amazing. And there's also so many other amazing kumu that have like led me into this path and to coming to UH Hilo, where I met more amazing teachers, and that's where I got involved with the Mega Lab, the Multi-Scale Environmental Graphical Analysis Lab. And
awesome.
I also got to work with so many amazing researchers and professors over there. And then I had a call or an email from Antiloa guys saying, hey, you should apply for the Nautilus internship. I'm like, oh, good. Okay. And then I also had other teachers who also kind of supported me and advertised this opportunity to me. So I'm like, okay. And so I applied for it, and I'm so grateful to be able to be here with you folks today. Yeah, so blessed.
Right, it's so awesome that what brings us to this ship and what the journeys that we all take to kind of gather in this space together and be able to do these awesome things. Like, I've learned so much from all of you, and we were only 7 days into our experience together. And I'm imagining I will learn so much more as we continue this mission. That was really cool. Thank you guys for sharing your journeys with all of us. I'll go ahead and close. Yes, I know, they text. I'll go ahead and close and let you know a little bit about my journey, what brought me here. So I was born in Hawaii and raised on the mainland, and so I would come back and forth my whole life to see my dad. He was a Waikiki beach boy, a va'a man, a paddler, outrigger, canoe paddler, and voyager. And so I'd go back and forth my whole life, and I spent most of my time with my mom on the mainland. But my father passed away when I was 5, and before that, I always was with him on the beach. We were sitting on crates and paddling canoe and loading va'a into the ocean and surfing and cruising. And so when he transitioned out of this space, I still held on to that connection to him by just spending time in the ocean and just being with him. I used to always go to the edge of the ocean and let the surf just kind of break on my toes, and I always would believe that was my papa kissing me. Yeah. So yeah, I just kind of went through that my whole life, just wanting to be with him, and that really drew my passion. I came home when I had my first baby in San Francisco, and I wanted us to really immerse in our identity as Kanaka Iwi and Native Hawaiians, learning our language, using our tools to malama our resources, and so I just started. We just paddled canoe, and we just keep paddling, and that was my pilina, right, to the ocean. My relationship was really to stay connected to my papa and perpetuate his practices and his passions and what our family is as va'a people. So I created a program after going to the University of Hawaii and getting all of these degrees. I got an associate's degree in environmental science, and then a bachelor's in marine science, and then a master's in conservation biology and just really just wanted to stay connected. And all of that, I kept thinking to myself, how does my knowledge and education feed my community? What is the purpose and function of all of this pala pala, all of these degrees that I gathered and collected over the years? And what can I use this knowledge to perpetuate the practices of our kupuna, our ancestors, to really, you know, have a living language of our Olelo Hawaii, and then really giving back to our community, yeah, to sustain all of us and who we are as people. So I created the Nava'amao program, which uses outrigger canoes to care for our ocean. So we implement all of the tools of oceanography. I always say the mechanics of Western science with the momona and the fatness of Kanaka science and indigenous ways. And it really creates a more, it's just an amazing experience to be out on the water, in the canoes, caring for our oceans and seeing what it evokes in our kids. The program supports not just our next generation of marine stewards, but their families, their communities, and all of us who hui around them to malama our aina in our spaces. So I have a vision of fleets of va'a caring for our oceans in collaboration with all of our big dog vessels that we're on right now, you know, and really seeing this vision of all of us working together to care for oceans. And I feel like sitting in this realm in this little van, it's already happening, you know, like we're already doing it. And it's so nice to just be in this space and just enjoy. Because for me, you know, I see my dad all around me, and to be able to have my kids engage in the ocean and be with me during my, you know, making them work and throw quadrats and transects and collect data, it's like unreal, you know, and knowing that that drives their passion too. And it may not be ocean. Like I know my one boy, he was in Kanehunamoku and he really loved it, but he had to go through the experience to understand that he was really an Aina boy. He liked to be on the land. And so I think just through all of our journeys and experiences and following the Pico pull, I was talking about it, you know, from your belly button out, or your gut, your now, however we explain it, but it's really moving forward with that passion. And I see it in all of you guys, and I've heard it in your stories, you know, of just like what drives you from the rocks to the voyages, to the relationships, you know, and to the journeys, the birds, the broadcasting, everything. It's so amazing what brings us to this space. So I'm really thankful for you guys sharing your journey with me and all of us here. And I look forward to getting involved with all of you, okay? Because it's going to happen. I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
You're going to get in
mahalo
the
ya oi.
canoe.
Yes, mahalo
Yes,
for
blessa.
sharing.
Mahalo nui.
What a beautiful story.
Yeah, I love it. Mahalo, you guys.
So we still can't explain that voice that came over the phone the other day.
Yeah. 37.
Oh.
Is that what it was? There was like this ghost voice that came through the mic. We asked some question. I don't even
How much
remember
time
what the
did this
question
surface?
I
was.
am convinced that was Steve.
I'm convinced it was Steve too.
I don't know how he did it,
I don't
but it
know
was
how
Steve.
he did it.
I'll ask him on the next watch.
He won't admit to it.
He won't admit
He
to
won't
it
admit to
ever.
it, but it was him.
I swear, that was funny. All of us were like, what? Cool. So have we found anything in the blue water that was super striking and awesome?
I saw something slide by one time.
Oh, hey.
What was it?
It's a bunch of like a beads that kind of look like
Probably
beads.
another siphonophore.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that, yeah.
Saw a lot of opai ula, red shrimp.
Right, I
It's
think
floating
that's
about.
oh, there goes a, and then we're gonna holo and tree. I get the red shrimp. And
There's
eat.
something right there. It looks
Oh,
like
hey.
a fish or something.
Like a swimming larva fish?
I think it's just a small fish getting tossed around.
Oh.
Yeah, it is. Nice. So we're currently at 454 meters, moving at a speed of 19 meters per minute. And so we have about 23 more minutes before we reach the surface. You are not afraid of the ocean. Yvonne, we got a question for you. Hello, have any abnormal radiation levels been detected? I don't know if this is an Yvonne question. I don't know where this one would go.
Yeah.
My assumption would be to you.
Yeah, there were some mishaps out there. There were some
For the nuclear
detonations
system,
that,
okay.
that weren't intentional, that led to some radiation pollution in Johnston and in different eras in the 60s, and a lot of that material that was exposed to radiation from different metals to some of the substrate, it was all collected and buried in a pretty big safe chamber with very thick linings of several feet deep all around, like imagine like a giant capsule. So all of that